Last year, I have invented the new concept of ecocatharsis, and I have to explain you what does it mean. You know the term ecology. Ecology means science of environment, and actually in Greek, oikos means habitat, logos means science, so ecology is science on habitat, ecologia, and catharsis has only one translation from Greek. It's cleaning or cleansing. And then I have introduced the new term, which is ecocatharsis, which is the cleansing of habitat. As I've said, Oksana has been explaining you everything about the greenhouse gases. And this is why I will just skip this slide and go ahead. I'll be talking about chemical stresses. And chemical stresses are the toxic effects of some of the compounds which create cancer, cardiovascular, and endocrine diseases. And some of the chemical compounds like formaldehyde, acetaldehyde, halogenated benzenes, and polyhalogenated dioxins, and polynuclear aromatics, all of them supposed to be known by you from the course of, from the discipline which is called organic chemistry at school. But the problem with these compounds, that all of them are highly toxic. This compound is coming from electronic cigarettes, and acetaldehyde is coming from alcoholic drinks. Halogenated benzenes are coming from all kind of fireworks, and polychlorinated dioxins and furans are coming with all of the fires you are creating in your daches, for example, preparing food on the carbon-containing fuel, and the same thing with polynuclear aromatics. First of all, with the benzopyrene, which is the carcinogen of the first class of danger. And with other inorganic compounds, we have all of these ammonia, hydrazine, arsine, phosphine, hydrogen sulfide, thiols, inorganic cations like mercury, cadmium, lead, methyl mercury, which is coming mostly from seafood, and tributyldiene, tin, and coming from sea as well, tetraethyl lead, which is still existing as the additive to gasoline, pesticides, which are supposed to be used in all type of agricultural places. Of course, fertilizers, specifically nitrogen-containing fertilizers, they create a lot of problems nowadays with the aquatic ecosystems, particularly the compounds which are called cyanotoxins. And of course, we have to speak about radionuclides, which are also chemical compounds. And the only thing that they possess two types of stresses, not only chemical stresses, but also the physical stresses. And of course, I have to mention as one of the most important and dangerous source of dangerous chemicals. Those are the landfills of municipal solid waste. And this is stress both of climate and health. And as to the climate, of course, we are talking about methane, hydrogen sulfide, thiols, disulfides, ammonia, phosphine, arsine. And even when we don't burn the waste landfills, we are getting all of these compounds. They look very normal They look very romantic, I would say, with all of these birds flying over the landfills, but they are highly toxic. And this is why people are suffering from those landfills, and this is why we have to create the new system of management with waste. And we just finished the monograph about the new system of managing of landfills in Russia. And when we are going to the next slide, you see the burned landfills. And burning landfills, people doing that not only by chance, they are taking off from the landfills the precious metals. And burning the landfills is the simplest way to earn a lot of money because of taking out of the landfills the precious metals. But burning the landfills, you create sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, CO2, nitrogen 2O, water, polynuclear aromatics, and polychlorinated dibenzodioxins and polychlorinated dibenzofurans. So one important thing, what will be evidently we have to do here, we have to create the even small, but anyway, the new system of dealing or management of with waste. And I have to mention specifically on the problem of hypoxia in Yerevan, and not only in Yerevan, but also in the city of Moscow and other big cities around the world. Hypoxia is the deficit of oxygen. Trees and other greens which perform the formation of oxygen. But one thing we have to have in mind, that driving your car, for example, with the gasoline engine, you destroy every one molecule of gasoline destroys 14 molecules of oxygen. So you can imagine how many molecules of oxygen you destroy driving your cars every day and everywhere around the world. City of Moscow has 8.5 million of cars nowadays. So people have a great extent of hypoxia in the cities. And with the diesel fuel, it is even worse because every molecule of diesel destroys 18 molecules of oxygen. And every plane, kerosene, destroys 23 molecules of oxygen. So when we are talking about the consumption, we are having in mind that as well. Driving the cars is the dangerous consumption. Running the jet planes, we are also destroy the oxygen. And cutting the trees, of course, we are not producing the new oxygen. And the less trees we have, the less oxygen we have, and the greater hypoxia we have. And we do have to have that in mind in our project here as well. Talking about the fields, agricultural production, as I have said, we have to be very careful with the chemicals we will be using here, trying to increase the harvest of the agricultural things. And those are, again, nitrogen-containing fertilizers, and those are the different type of pesticides, including organic chlorine pesticides, nitrogen-containing pesticides, and permetrins. And why particularly Armenia? Why we are talking about Armenia? Here it's evident. We live here and we are performing the project here. And the question why Armenia needs ecocatharsis. And as I've said, it's not only Armenia, it's all over the world. People need ecocatharsis. And to perform and to save Armenians from diseases, from cancer, from cardiovascular diseases and endocrine disruptions, we have to stop the emissions. We have to stop the pollution of the ecosystems of Armenia. Atmosphere, aquatic ecosystems, soils, and to save Armenia from catastrophic climate change. I've called my talk Gagarin implementation of ecocatharsis in Armenia. That means that with the help of Gagarin project, we have to show an example how we can implement the ecocatharsis as the process of cleansing the Armenian environment. And there are several ways. First, no technology is bringing toxic and radioactive waste into the environment. Second, no products containing toxic and radioactive compounds. And third, combination of carbon low carbon and zero carbon economy and care highly the content of oxygen in the air. And with this, I stop my short talk, and I thank you very much for your kind attention.